Hello and welcome, 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 welcome. This is a Magnetic Monday live, and we're going to talk briefly about energetic alignment and your business. So say hello whether you're watching along live. I'm going live in a few places at the same time. And if you're watching the replay and you're not here live, that's totally cool. Say hello anyway. Just give us a hashtag replay and let us know, what comes up for you. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just talk about a few things for you to consider, and they might help you gain some insight into why different business strategies haven't worked for you in the past, and some things you might need to look at to tweak it so that they do, and so that your business starts feeling a whole lot more aligned and starts performing the way you want it to. And I invite you to share your insights, your takeaways, your questions, your stories, your own reflections, and any examples of what we're going to talk about in the comments. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be in the Manifesting Circle doing a Thursday takeaway. So I'm going to basically respond to all your questions and all your insights and just break it down a little bit further. So if you're watching this and not in the Manifesting Circle and you haven't joined us yet, I've popped the link to the Manifesting Circle Facebook group. It's my free Facebook community of spiritual, soulful women in business. And you can just click the link and request to join the group. And then you can be there for the Thursday takeaway video as well. So let's talk about it. Have you ever found yourself like following and trying to emulate someone else's business strategy, and it's basically tanked? It just hasn't worked for you at all. And you've worked really hard at it, but no matter what you did, you just couldn't make it work for you. There were no sign-ups, there was no money, all that sort of thing. And it just felt heavy and hard. Or maybe you have experienced in the past where you did kind of start following somebody's business strategy, because we're all constantly out there looking for strategies, looking for coaches, looking for ideas on how to make our business work better. And you followed one and you got all into it, and it started working in the beginning. It was sort of showing really promising results, but then after a while it kind of all flatlined and the bottom fell out. And once you were on your own and the challenge or the program or whatever it was, or you stopped working with that coach, was over, you were like going, okay, it worked, kind of, sort of, was looking really good for a while, and now it's just gone, and there seems to be no energy left and certainly no results. So let me know if either one of those has ever happened to you. I'd be surprised if not even one of them has ever happened to you, because both have certainly happened for me loads and loads of times. And so I want to talk about that through the lens of alignment, and I will keep it brief. So in a nutshell, my kind of unofficial subtitle for this video is one point that I make very strongly over and over and over again, and that is, there is no formula for you. There is absolutely no formula for you, especially when it comes to energetic alignment. So the reason why a certain business strategy works for a certain person, yeah, it may be a great strategy, but as well as that, it also needs to really be in alignment for them if it's going to get traction, if it's going to, really have legs. So the people you see who are doing amazingly well with a certain strategy, they're doing amazingly well with it because it's totally in alignment for them. Now, for some people, that may be going live, 4 times a week on their Facebook page. For some people, that may be running ads and never having to speak to a soul in person. For other people, that may be running live challenges and like really showing up, being fully connected, and all sorts of different things, right? So there are so many strategies out there, and they all work for the people who they're in alignment for. And that's the most important thing to remember. It's not just about, is this a good strategy? Does it work? There are loads of those out there. But what's the right strategy for me that's actually in alignment for me? So you can't just look at somebody and go, wow, they're doing really well. Let me do what they're doing. It's going to work equally for me. when you do that, that's when you end up in this situation where you go, well, how come it worked for them and it's not working for me? And then sometimes when you have that situation where you join the challenge or you join the program or you work with that coach and it does work for you for a while, but then when that connection's no longer there, it doesn't work for you anymore. What's happened there energetically is you were feeding off their energy. You were feeding off their alignment. You were feeding off the enthusiasm of the group. And that's what kind of raised your vibration and gave you that alignment with the strategy, but it was temporary because it was their energy that allowed you to raise your vibration and actually get an alignment with it and get up the enthusiasm for it. But it didn't really come from deep within you. So you don't have that perpetual source of energy and alignment within you to sustain it for the long run. And so when the connection is no longer there, when the challenge is over, the program's over, or you stop working with that coach, it doesn't work. And so, this is like when you recognize this, it's such a liberating realization because, there are people out there who go, okay, here's what you got to do. You've got to get up at 5:30 every morning and you need to go exercise and then you need to go meditate and then you need to journal and then you need to do this and then you need to have like an ice bath at night and then you need to, show up live on your page every single day. And it's like, sometimes it's like, shit, if I've got to do all that, I think I'll go work at the supermarket checkout. And other times it's, the enthusiasm will carry you and it may or may not end up being in alignment for you. So you really need to, hey, Monique, so you really need to start by assessing how you want to show up in your business, how you want to connect with your people, how you want to serve your clients, and get really clear on what is in alignment for you, and then find a strategy and a coach, or you'll work out your own strategy because you know enough, you honestly do. But coming from that place of what's going to light me up, fuel me, and help me tap into that endless source of energy within me. And so the way I approach this is, I look at core values first, like what really lights you up, and not core values like, those things that sound good or that you think you should value, but what truly, truly lights you up at the unconscious level, like the stuff that just makes life seem blissful, like you're tiptoeing through the tulips, right? And you look at that stuff and you look at those common elements, and then you look at how can I make sure I bring that into and get that from my business. And then what happens is you're truly deeply in alignment with what you're doing. You are literally tapping in to that inner infinite driving source, that boundless supply of energy that comes from when you're actually in alignment with your higher self or your inner being or your divine source or whatever name you want to give it, right? When you're in alignment with all of that, you just love life, you love your business, and you don't feel like you're having to force yourself out of bed to do something that really doesn't feel so great for you. And that energy obviously translates out there, and people pick up on that, and then they're drawn like moths to a flame to wanting to work with you. And then you go, wow, how come my business feels so easy and effortless? And it's not because you found the right strategy that worked for somebody else and you forced yourself into their box. It's because you actually looked at what's deeply in alignment for you, and then you made sure that your business was molded around that. And that's a massively different approach. So I just want to, one of my messages is you don't need to get up at 5:30 in the morning to have a successful business, because there's a lot of that out there. And I'm like, if that works for you, for a lot of people works really well. For a lot of people, it really doesn't work. I'm one of those. Does not work for me. Like getting to sleep in and wake up when my body is ready. And some days that's maybe at 6:30. Those are rare. And most days that's at like 7:30, sometimes 8, and on the weekend, whenever, right? So just because somebody else is doing it and raving about it and it's like flavor of the month, that's great. Good for them. So It works when it's in alignment for you, and it works for them because it's in alignment for them, because there is no formula for you. So I want to leave you by just giving you a really simple way to check in. Hey, Amanda, good to see you. I'm just going to read some comments. Fee says, gosh, so I know what that's like, having people say what I should do. Yes. And like this, there is no formula for you. Like it doesn't just apply to your business strategy. It applies to your alignment strategy. It applies to how you deal with limiting beliefs. It applies to how you deal with resistance. It's both the great news and maybe the not as great news. If you were hoping somebody would just give you like a tick list of do these 5 or 10 things every day and you're good, you actually need to become more self-aware. So I was saying there is no formula for you. Applies across the board for everything. Now, I want to give you a really quick way to check in when it comes to, is this thing right for me or not? And it's simply sit, take a deep breath, become fully present, and then ask yourself, whoops, that's my reminder to be on a magnetic money support call next. Simply ask yourself, does this feel heavy or does this feel light? That's it. Does this feel heavy or does this feel light? And then go from there. So I'd love to hear your reflections, what this has brought up for you, what it's helped you realize. Any questions, pop them in the comments for me. I will be in the Manifesting Circle on Thursday for Thursday takeaways. And, bring your Asian takeaway or Indian takeaway or whatever, pizza, whatever your takeaway is if you want. But the kind of takeaways I was actually talking about were the takeaways from this topic and this conversation. So please leave me loads of comments, feedback, questions. And then on Thursday, meet me in the Manifesting Circle group and we will go through that, break it down a little bit more and help you dive even deeper into this, because the way to embrace your unlimited potential is to understand exactly what that looks and, most importantly, feels like for you. So if you're not a member of the Manifesting Circle yet, the link is in the description of this video. So just ask to join the group. I'll see you there. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me. Bye.